Okay, I want to talk about typing well. Now, I'm not talking about learning to type really fast, like just being good at typing fast. And I'm not talking about having your hands over the right keys or your fingers over the right keys. That's not what this video is. This is about using shortcuts to amplify your typing speed. Now, to talk about this, the center of this topic is the Shift, Control, and Alt keys. These are what allow you to do that. These are your shortcut kind of enablers. And all just so you know, this is mostly for Visual Studio. It's a lot of the stuff you do with Shift and Control, you can do wherever you want. Alt, this Alt is typically a button that's specific to the program you're in. So specific to Visual Studio in this case. This is about typing code fast, and then some of it's you can just use for typing normal stuff fast, whatever. So I'm going to start off by saying that these are modifiers. So they kind of just modify whatever you do. It's kind of an abstract thought. What does that mean? I'll show you. So let's start with shift. Shift, you're used to it actually. You know this is a modifier key. You hold it, and whatever letter you press, it modifies it and makes it capitalized. Cool, makes sense. Control, maybe you're not used to it. You're used to this for copying and pasting. But you can use it to modify kind of movement you do in when you're typing text in Visual Studio and a lot of other programs. And then Alt is kind of a special boy, and he's kind of specific to Visual Studio, so I'll go over him on his own after Shift and Control. So let's start with Shift. Shift is the highlighter, or I'll just say highlight modifier. So basically, whatever you do, if you have this key pressed, it's gonna highlight. So as if you were dragging your mouse over something. And it's still, this is still kind of in the abstract, so maybe you don't even know what that means. Like, but I'm going to show you. Now, control is this is kind of a long definition, but is the do it to the entire word, I guess, well, or thing modifier. So basically, whatever action you're doing, if you're holding control, you do it, you're going to do it to the whole word, or if it's like a big set of white space, you'll do it to the whole. So that would be the thing. You'll do it to all the white space. And then Alt, I guess I'll call it the do it to. No, I'll just I don't need to type out do it to. I'll call it the multi line modifier. That's what it does. Whatever you do, it does it to multiple lines. So I'm going to jump into just some arbitrary code and kind of show it off. So I'm going to show each one off individually. They're going to look super weak. They're going to be like, why the heck would I ever use this? But when you use them all together, that's when they're powerful. So first I'm going to show you off using shift. So if you are moving your arrow keys around, that's great. That's cool. But guess what? You can be holding shift while you do this. And you're selecting wherever the arrows are moving. Since you first held select, it's going to shift everything between where your cursor first was when you first press shift and then where it is now. I'm holding shift this whole time. It's selecting all this. You can move up and down, left and right. It's just like you're dragging your mouse around, but it feels slower, right? Well, we'll get to that. The next key, so just to bring some conclusion to it, highlight, right? I'm highlighting stuff. Okay, next, control. Do it to the entire word or thing modifier. So moving around, dang, it really feels slow moving around with this arrow key. Well, guess what? I'm going to hold control and I'm going to press right, and bam, I went to the right, but I moved to the right for the whole word. I'm going to do it again, move to the right for the whole word. I can go back and forth. Whoa, I can navigate all over the place so fast. And so that's cool. Next, I'm going to show Alt. Now, if I hold Alt and press down, whoa, moving this line around, mad line control. So Alt up and down, you can and now if you have multiple things selected, I don't see will it work? Yeah, so then it just moves that. Okay, no, yeah, it moves the whole line. Cool, whatever. Sorry. So that's super handy if I wanted to reorder some properties. I just hold Alt, press up and down. That's cool. There's a little bit more you can do to it. You can hold Alt, click and drag. So here's a situation where you're not using the keyboard only, which I'm not saying you should never touch your mouse. So this is a great example of good time to use the mouse. So look at this. You know, I can select an entire block of text, say private. Super cool. I could also just, you know, do a single line and say, I don't know, poop. Cool. Now let's combine Alt and Shift. So if I hold Alt and Shift and move up and down, look, I'm making these lines myself. Super cool. If I hold Shift and Control, look at that. I just selected the whole word, just like that. Boom, 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 boom. So that's super handy. Let's say I'm over here. So I hit backspace. What does that do? That moves the cursor to the left and deletes the key. So what? That's movement. Well, then we can use a modifier on it. So let's do Control backspace. Bam! I deleted the whole word. I don't know if you use delete, but you should start using delete. Control delete. I delete the word to the right. Control backspace. I delete the word to the left. Super handy. So I could just delete this line just like that. But I'm going to show you an even faster way to delete a line. And this involves using these two new keys I'm going to introduce. I didn't draw them, sorry. But the Home and N key. Now, you may have never touched these in your life. If you have, congrats. If you're still using them, you must be crazy, because who wants to use these keys? Well, I do. They're great. They're very lame to use at first, but what do? I'm going to press End, boop, cursor moves to the end. Press Home, boop, cursor moves to the quote-unquote home, the beginning of the line. Super handy. So as you may intuit, you can use modifiers with this. So if I'm at the beginning of a line and I hit Shift End, bam, I select the whole line. I could copy it, I could delete it, whatever. If I'm at the end, I can hit Shift Home, do this. If I just need to, if I want to maybe delete everything beyond public, I'll hit Control Right Shift End, boom. Done it just like that. I didn't have to touch my mouse. It was much faster. Now, let's see. Is there anything else? I think that's the gist of it. I mean, you can hit Control down to scroll down, Control up to scroll up. That's kind of handy. You can hit Page down to, and now I'm sorry, I'm just like rattling off the last few that aren't really connected to anything else. But if I hit Page down, you move the cursor to the as far down on the page as it can go, as long as there's lines there. Page up, same thing. It'll move it up super high, I guess. Seems kind of arbitrary, because I would think it would move it to offset, which is, you know, at the top of the page, but it moves it to this, so not super sure about that, not a fan. But now I kind of just want to show you an example of why I like it, why I do this. And this is kind of, yeah, a nice concrete example of why it's fast. Now I'm going to narrate it, and then I'm going to go through and narrate it faster, just to show you what I'm doing. So when I create a new script, and this is the kind of the final example, I'm kind of wrapping it up, so don't worry. So when I when I create a new script, I don't like having all these namespaces. I don't like having any methods that I didn't put in myself. I don't like having those comments. So first thing I do is I delete the names, the using systems.collections and systems.collections as generic. So what do? I hit Shift down. So I now have selected everything up to where my cursor is, and then I, while still holding Shift, hit End. And bam, I've selected the namespaces. Now, I could hit backspace, but then I still have this line up here. I don't like it. So what I do is I hit delete, because delete deletes whatever is to the right of the, it's not the cursor. I don't know what it's called. Whatever. Deletes to the right of the flashy bar. And what's to the right of the flashy bar? This empty line. So delete that, and then now I have the only namespace using I want at the top. So let me go through that again. So I've just created the script. I don't want it Shift down and delete. Bam, bam, bam. So you can get very fast at doing this, and I didn't have to touch my mouse. It's already there. So the next thing I do, I've got my namespaces out of the way that I don't want. I hit down, end. So I've moved to the end. Then I just press back, no modifiers, back once, and then I hold Shift, Page down, because guess what page down is doing? Page down is just moving the cursor to the bottom, and so anytime anything moves the cursor, you can use these modifiers. So I'm going to hold Shift because I want to select everything from where my cursor, where the flashy bar thing is right now, to the bottom of the page. So Shift, Page down, delete, Enter, and then I do my brackets. So let's go through that from scratch. I'm not going to walk you through it. I'm just going to do it. Bam. I've got my script ready. I'm ready to type. Maybe I want start back. I don't know. I don't actually want it because this is an example script. Whatever. You can see how fast it is. Um, so I guess that's the gist of it. Those are the important ones. There's obviously always more shortcuts. Like you can hit Control RR to rename something, and wherever else it's used, it's gonna get renamed. Whatever. There's lots of shortcuts in Visual Studio, but for moving around just your workspace, your text, those are the essentials that I use. I'm sure maybe there's more. I don't know. Probably not that many more. It seems like a pretty good mix. But yeah, whatever. You should start using them. One, yeah, you should start using them. Two, it's gonna be lame as hell at first. Three, use them because it won't be forever, and then you'll get good at them. Cool. That's all I wanted to say. I don't see anyone using this. People should use it.